What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I was listening to President Biden earlier today. He was talking about the problem with gas, and he has this two-part solution. And I also was listening to Speaker Pelosi earlier today, and she was talking about another solution. And so I want to talk about these things because this is very important. This is very important for every American because right now we are getting killed at the gas pump. And this is affecting everyone. And even if you don't have a vehicle, it still affects you because the transportation companies are raising prices, which means that if you go to the grocery store, prices are going to be higher. And so I want to talk a little bit about what President Biden said, summarize it, talk a little bit about what Nancy Pelosi says, summarize it, and then give you my opinion. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, on this video, we talk about financial news and what's going on in Washington, D.C. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's talk about President Biden first because he has this two-part plan that he wants to implement. And so the first thing that he wants to focus on is oil companies drilling more. And I know that might be shocking to some people, but yes, the president is saying, look, there are 9,000 permits out there, and these oil companies are choosing not to drill right now. And it might sound a little strange that there are 9,000 permits out there and they're not drilling because the solution that a lot of people are coming up with, a lot of people are letting me know in the comment section, we just need to drill more. We need to drill more oil. If we drill more oil, it drives the prices down. However, some oil companies might not want to drill. And I think that's what it's coming down to. You have some oil companies that are making the choice to just limit their supply, because if they limit their supply, the price goes up. And if they start drilling, the price will go back down. And maybe they don't want the price to go back down because they're making money right now without drilling. And if they don't have to drill and they can make money, that's more profitable for them. Because you have to look at it like this. When it comes down to it, if they have to drill, what are they going to need to do? They need to get the permits first, and if they already have the permit, well, they need the manpower in order to drill. That's going to cost money. They need the equipment. That's going to cost money, and it's a risk. They don't know if they'll be profitable if they drill for that oil. And so if you have the oil already and you have a limited supply, why not try to hold on to that supply as long as possible, raise the price on that supply as long as possible, and then only drill when it's necessary, only drill when you have to. That way, you know you're going to be pulling profits from the oil that you have now, and then in the future, you always have that. And once that oil that you have is starting to be depleted, then you can start drilling for more oil. You don't really have to drill right now. And so right now, you can just kind of sit back, rake in the profits, and then see what happens from this point on. And so that's what I think some of these oil companies are doing. They're making that choice not to drill. And President Biden mentioned this. He thinks that that's what's going on as well. He thinks that some of these oil companies, they're just choosing not to drill. If you have 9,000 permits, why aren't people using these 9,000 permits to drill? And so one of the things that he wants to do is penalize that. So if you have permits and you're choosing not to use those permits, there should be some type of tax on that. If you're choosing not to drill, there should be some type of a penalty for that. And so we'll have to see how they can implement something like that, but that's one of the things that he mentioned. Now, another thing that he was talking about, because he started focusing on what we're looking at right now when it comes to gas prices, how can we immediately make those prices go down? And so he started talking again about the strategic reserve. And so right now we have a strategic reserve. He's talking about 100 million barrels per day for 6 months. Okay, so that's what he wants to do. And then after that 6-month period, then the hope is that some of these oil companies will start drilling. And if they start drilling, then that will bring the prices down for oil. So that's what we're looking at when it comes to President Biden's plan. He has this plan that he's putting forward. Congress is going to have to help him out with some of this stuff. However, some of the stuff he can do on his own, like the 100 million barrels of oil per day. So we're just going to have to follow it and see where it goes. Now, Speaker Pelosi, she also spoke earlier today, and she said something very interesting. She was talking about the gas rebate. Believe it or not, she was talking about that. And that means a lot because this is a situation where she is the leader of the House, and she can move forward any legislation that she wants to move forward. And so the fact that she's talking about a gas rebate, that goes a long way. That means that we're probably looking at something like that. And I said this a couple of days ago, when it comes to gas rebates, gas vouchers, this is something that I think politicians will be looking forward to trying to implement. And you have the speaker, you have the leader of the House saying this now. And so we'll have to see how far it goes. But the reason that she wants to focus on a gas rebate in lieu of a tax holiday, because a tax holiday, that's something else that they were talking about. So you have a gas tax. So the federal government, they have a gas tax, and part of that gas tax goes to infrastructure. Okay, so what they want to do, or what they were talking about doing, is having a holiday, gas tax holiday, where you don't have to pay that tax anymore. And so that would be a difference. And I don't know the exact difference, but it might be a difference of, I'm just giving an example, maybe 20 cents less in gas. But the only problem is that tax is only going to benefit the oil companies, and it will be up to the oil companies to drop those prices down. There are no guarantees. So that's the problem. And so that's why she was saying, look, I think giving direct payments to the people is better than waiving this gas tax, because if we waive the gas tax, the oil companies will make out. But if they don't drop those prices, and you can't force, and she was saying this as well, Congress can't force these oil companies to pass on the savings to the consumer. So because they can't force that, it's not really a viable plan, because the oil companies can still do what they want to do. However, if you give a direct payment, if you give a gas tax direct payment, however you want to look at it, and I would think if we're looking at it in this situation, it's not just going to be for gas. It was probably going to just be a direct payment in some form or fashion. That way you have the choice of using it for gas or using it for other things. And so if they had something like that, that goes directly to the people, they benefit right away from that, and then they can choose to buy gas with that or to buy other things. And so she did mention this, and that's a big sign. If she's mentioning this, that means that this is something that they're talking about, seriously talking about in Congress, and so we'll have to see where that goes. Now, the president didn't mention it, which is interesting. However, this is legislation that needs to be done, so we need legislators to be talking about this, and so we have legislators talking about it. But the president, he did not mention it in his speech earlier today. So we'll have to follow that and see where it goes. But that's good news for people who are looking forward to some type of a direct payment when it comes to a gas rebate or a gas voucher. And the other part of the good news is that President Biden is talking about releasing 100 million barrels of the oil from the strategic reserve, which is good because that will drive prices down as well. So I want to know what you guys think about all this. So let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.